Texas, the land of endless growth. For years, its suburbs were the ultimate American dream: wide open space, big new homes, low taxes, and booming jobs. But in 2025, that dream is cracking. The same migration wave that fueled Texas's meteoric rise has now overshot reality. Mortgage rates remain high, insurance premiums have exploded, and across the Lone Star State, the once invincible housing market is showing its first real signs of collapse. According to Zillow and Redfin, over 40% of Texas suburbs have seen home price declines since mid-2024. Inventory has doubled in some areas, days on market are climbing, and sellers are cutting prices faster than at any time since 2008. Developers built for endless demand, but that demand is gone. Buyers are cautious, investors are fleeing, and what was once called the Texas housing miracle now looks like the next housing correction in motion. Welcome to Discover the Nation, where today we count down the top 10 Texas suburbs facing a housing collapse in 2025. The places where booming growth has turned into dangerous oversupply, and where the fall might just be steeper than anyone expects. Because in Texas, the story was always about size. Now, it's about gravity.
Number 10. Leander. Leander was the poster child of Texas's pandemic boom. The city that seemed to embody everything people wanted when they fled big metros for more space, lower prices, and wide-open skies. Between 2020 and 2023, home prices here exploded more than 60%, fueled by tech workers priced out of Austin, remote employees flush with stock options, and investors convinced Central Texas would never slow down. But in 2025, that story has flipped. The wave that lifted Leander has crashed hard. Inventory has more than doubled since last spring. Price-reduced banners flood online listings. According to Redfin, median prices have fallen nearly 13% year over year, and new home builders are dangling massive incentives, free appliances, rate buy-downs, even gift cards, just to move unsold units. The problem is structural. Property taxes in Williamson County have soared, HOA fees are eating into budgets, and insurance premiums have surged. Families who bought at the top of the market are now watching their home values sink while their payments rise. For many, the dream of Austin living without Austin prices has become a financial trap. Even the skyline tells the story. The cranes that once dotted the horizon have gone still. Retail centers are half-filled. The hum of construction has quieted to an uneasy calm. Leander was built on confidence, on the belief that growth would never end. Now, as 2025 unfolds, that confidence is fading. The boomtown energy is gone, replaced by something more familiar: caution. And in Leander's still streets, that silence says everything.
Number 9. Frisco. For nearly 2 decades, Frisco defined suburban success. It was the crown jewel of North Texas, home to corporate headquarters, luxury master plans, and schools ranked among the nation's best. From Legacy West to the Star District, every corner gleamed with prosperity. But by 2025, the shine has dulled. After peaking in late 2022, home prices have dropped nearly 11%, while listings have tripled. The supply of multi-million-dollar homes now far outpaces buyers willing or able to pay for them. What went wrong? Growth moved faster than fundamentals. Property taxes are punishingly high. Insurance premiums have soared after hail and wind damage claims. Construction costs remain inflated, and wages haven't kept up. Even high-earning professionals are finding Frisco increasingly unaffordable. The investor rush that once poured in from California and Arizona has reversed. Many flippers who once profited off bidding wars are now sitting on vacant, unsold homes, their profits erased by higher financing costs. Downtown streets that once buzzed with new openings now whisper with hesitation. Real estate offices are quieter. Sellers are frustrated. Buyers are waiting. Frisco isn't collapsing in a crash. It's slowly exhaling after a decade of overconfidence. The luxury market is cracking first, but affordability issues are creeping down the ladder. If mortgage rates remain elevated and job creation in Dallas-Fort Worth slows, Frisco's soft landing could easily become a slide. For the first time in years, even this powerhouse suburb is learning that growth, no matter how golden, is never guaranteed.
Number 8 is Conroe. Conroe was once Houston's northern escape, a lakeside refuge where middle-class families could afford bigger homes, better schools, and breathing room away from city congestion. Between 2019 and 2023, it became one of Texas's fastest-growing markets. Builders couldn't pour foundations fast enough, convinced migration from Houston would never stop. But in 2025, the frenzy has turned to fatigue. According to the Houston Association of Realtors, inventory in Conroe is up 95% year over year, while sales have fallen by a third. Builders are cutting prices by $30,000 or more, offering every incentive imaginable to clear backlogs. Homeowners who bought near the peak now face shrinking values and rising costs. Flood insurance has doubled following consecutive storm seasons, and standard homeowners policies are spiking too. Property tax reassessments have piled on thousands more each year. The once booming neighborhoods of Wood Forest and Grand Central Park are showing cracks, unkempt lawns, stalled construction, and price-reduced signs at every corner. Local businesses that thrived on new home traffic are slowing, from coffee shops to contractors. Conroe's growth engine, cheap land and endless demand, has seized up. Job growth in nearby Houston has softened and migration has cooled. Now supply outweighs demand, and optimism has turned into overhang. Conroe's lesson is simple but sobering. Every boomtown eventually reaches its limit, and in 2025, Conroe has found it.
Number 7, New Braunfels. New Braunfels was once Texas's perfect middle ground, small-town charm between two booming metros. It was where Austin's innovation met San Antonio's tradition. During the pandemic, it became one of the most desirable spots in the country. Developers rushed in with master-planned communities, Veramendi, Solms Landing, and Creekside, promising river views, new schools, and suburban serenity. But by 2025, the dream has soured. The very growth that made New Braunfels famous has now drowned it in supply. Inventory has more than doubled, and median home prices have fallen 14% since 2023. Homes that once sparked bidding wars now sit for months without offers. Rising costs have pushed the market to its breaking point. Property taxes are climbing, insurance rates are punishing after flood remapping, and commuting costs are eating into disposable income. The hybrid workers who once moved here for flexibility are being called back to offices, leaving empty driveways behind. Local realtors describe the market as frozen. Sellers cling to yesterday's prices. Buyers are waiting for tomorrow's deals. Builders keep building because stopping would sink them. And so the tension builds, quietly, visibly, like pressure under a bridge before the flood. For years, New Braunfels symbolized Texas's unstoppable expansion. Today, it represents something else entirely, the moment growth meets gravity. It's not collapse yet, but it's close.
Number 6, Mansfield. Mansfield was always the quiet achiever of North Texas, a place that balanced big city convenience with small-town charm. Strong schools, green parks, and easy access to both Dallas and Fort Worth made it one of the region's most coveted suburbs. For years, it felt like a secret, a place where middle-class families could finally find stability and space. But in 2025, that delicate balance has fractured. According to Realtor.com, active listings in Mansfield are up 82% year over year, while pending sales have plunged. Developers who once couldn't build fast enough are now staring down streets of empty, unsold homes. Mortgage payments that cost $2,200 in 2021 now top $3,800 once you factor in taxes and insurance. The city's property values have climbed faster than wages, and for many residents, the affordability that drew them here has vanished. Even longtime homeowners admit Mansfield feels different now. The construction boom that was supposed to bring prosperity has created saturation instead. Rows of luxury homes are sitting dark at night. No lights, no laughter, just silence and price-reduced signs. Small businesses that thrived on new residents are struggling too. Builders have paused projects, realtors describe showings without offers, and for the first time in a decade, for rent signs are multiplying in neighborhoods that used to sell instantly. Mansfield's story isn't one of collapse, it's one of correction. The city grew on optimism and convenience, but both are fading. And as the housing tide goes out across DFW, Mansfield's once perfect equilibrium is revealing cracks it can no longer hide.
Number 5. Pflugerville. Just north of Austin, Pflugerville was one of Texas's fastest-growing cities, a suburban success story turned housing hotspot. It became the go-to refuge for tech workers escaping Austin's sky-high prices. Between 2020 and 2022, developers couldn't build fast enough. Neighborhoods like Blackhawk and Falcon Point expanded overnight, and homes sold before the paint was dry. But in 2025, Pflugerville's growth story has reversed. Home prices are down 12% since 2024, and nearly half of all active listings have seen multiple price reductions. According to Redfin, days on market have doubled, and buyer demand has dropped to its lowest point in a decade. The reasons are everywhere you look. Traffic congestion has worsened, property taxes have surged, and insurance costs, especially for newer developments, are punishing. Remote workers who once fueled the boom are quietly leaving, drawn back to corporate offices or cheaper states entirely. Even the city's rapid infrastructure projects haven't kept up with its expansion. Schools are overcrowded, road projects are unfinished, and the once vibrant sense of new community energy has been replaced with fatigue. For every for sale sign that comes down, another goes up 2 streets over. Entire blocks of identical new builds now stand half empty. Pflugerville was once Austin's affordable alternative. Now it's a warning. Proof that unchecked growth can turn the promise of opportunity into the weight of oversupply. Austin's suburban sprawl has reached its limit, and Pflugerville is paying the price. The canary in the coal mine is no longer singing, it's gasping.
Number 4. Katy, Houston Metro. For years, Katy was the pride of suburban Houston, a master-planned marvel of good schools, safe neighborhoods, and perfectly manicured communities. From Cinco Ranch to Cross Creek Ranch, it was the model of middle-class success, drawing families from all over Texas with the promise of space, safety, and stability. But in 2025, that promise is cracking. Foreclosure filings in Harris County are up 28% year-over-year, with Katy leading the surge. Homeowners who once saw their properties as foolproof investments are now facing rising costs and falling values. The math has turned brutal. An average new-build mortgage that cost $2,000 in 2021 now exceeds $3,400, thanks to soaring insurance premiums, higher interest rates, and punishing property taxes. Many families who moved here for affordability have discovered it's anything but. Behind the glossy developer ads and #1 master plan community signs, the tension is obvious. Builders are slashing prices to clear inventory, investors are quietly backing out. Rental demand, which once was a safety net, is shrinking as tenants downsize or leave entirely. Even the retail corridors that define Katy's growth are slowing. New restaurants are half full, storefronts are changing hands, and on quiet evenings, neighborhoods that once thrummed with activity now sit still. Lawns overgrown, driveways empty. For developers, the slowdown is financial. For residents, it's emotional. Katy's identity has always been tied to success, but now it's confronting the reality of overextension. For Houston's west side, the boom that once felt unstoppable has finally hit a wall. And behind the smiling billboards, a harsh truth is spreading. The Texas housing miracle has a breaking point, and in Katy, it's already here.
Number 3. Georgetown.
Georgetown was once the shining symbol of Central Texas charm, red brick downtowns, historic courthouses, and neighborhoods that seemed immune to the chaos of Austin's overheated housing market. Between 2019 and 2022, it became one of the fastest-growing cities in the United States, its population swelling by nearly 14%. Builders rushed to meet demand, transforming open fields into master-planned communities like Wolf Ranch and Berry Creek Islands. But in 2025, the mood has changed. Inventory has nearly doubled. Home prices have slipped 10% year over year, and developers are quietly pulling back. The once frenzied pace of sales has slowed to a crawl. The problem is simple. Affordability has vanished. Rising property taxes and insurance premiums have driven monthly costs sky high. A mortgage that once cost $2,100 now exceeds $3,600, and that's forcing many homeowners to the edge. Even retirees, long a key demographic in Georgetown's boom, are feeling the strain. Many bought second homes or investment properties that are now worth less than they owe. With fixed incomes and escalating maintenance costs, they're quietly listing homes that once symbolized retirement dreams. Downtown remains picturesque, but the edges of the city tell a different story. Empty lots, slow construction, and hesitant buyers. Builders who overextended during the boom are offering massive incentives, hoping to avoid layoffs and cancellations. Georgetown's charm hasn't faded, but its affordability has. And in a market built on migration and optimism, that's enough to turn growth into stagnation. What was once a model for sustainable suburban living now stands as a warning. Even beauty can buckle under the weight of inflation.
Number 2. McKinney. McKinney's story reads like a Texas success manual. Great schools, strong infrastructure, and a booming job market that made it one of the most desirable suburbs in America. Between 2015 and 2022, home prices soared more than 80%, fueled by corporate relocations and a wave of high-income newcomers from California. But in 2025, the market's foundation is cracking. After years of explosive growth, McKinney's housing pipeline has turned into a backlog. Active listings are up 90% year over year, while average days on market have more than doubled. Homes that once sold in days now linger for months. What's changed? The cost of living has outpaced the very salaries that drew people here. Property taxes in Collin County are some of the highest in Texas, insurance rates have surged after severe weather, and construction costs refuse to fall. Many homeowners are stretched thin, especially those who bought with adjustable rate or low down payment loans during the pandemic. Developers are sitting on unsold inventory, while landlords face rising vacancies as renters flee to cheaper suburbs. The local economy, once insulated by rapid job growth, is showing stress fractures, from slowing retail development to reduced construction permits. McKinney's housing market isn't collapsing, it's deflating, carefully but unmistakably. The same factors that fueled its rise, easy credit, corporate expansion, and migration, are now amplifying its decline. In a city once synonymous with prosperity, for sale signs now tell a different story, not of ambition, but of adjustment.
Number 1. Round Rock. Round Rock was once Austin's crown jewel of stability, a model city that balanced affordability with opportunity. It had everything: top schools, booming tech jobs, and access to major employers like Dell. Families saw it as the perfect middle ground, not too crowded, not too pricey, not too risky. But in 2025, that balance is gone. After years of record migration and speculative building, Round Rock's housing market has hit a wall. According to Redfin, home prices have fallen 9% since last summer, while listings have surged nearly 70%. Builders are slashing incentives to unload inventory, and buyers, burned by overvaluation, are waiting on the sidelines. The bigger issue? Costs have outpaced reality. A home that once cost $1,900 a month in 2021 now runs closer to $3,500 thanks to higher taxes, steeper insurance premiums, and utilities that seem to climb monthly. Even well-paid tech professionals are feeling the strain. Many newcomers who moved from California or Washington for affordable living are discovering that Round Rock's affordability advantage has vanished. Meanwhile, local renters face their own crisis, with rent hikes slowing but still far from affordable. The ripple effect is everywhere. Restaurants and small businesses that thrived during the population boom are seeing slower weekends. Construction crews are downsizing. Retail plazas that couldn't open fast enough now sit half empty. Round Rock's story is not one of failure, it's one of fatigue. After years of endless expansion, the market has finally exhaled. The suburb that once defined Texas growth is now defining its reckoning, a reminder that even the strongest markets can bend under their own success. Round Rock was built on optimism, but in 2025, even optimism comes with a price tag.
From Leander to Round Rock, Frisco to Katy, Texas's suburbs are finally learning the truth about endless growth. It always ends. The state that once symbolized limitless opportunity is now facing its first real test of overexpansion. Rising taxes, soaring insurance, and an oversupply of homes have turned boom towns into burden towns. For developers, the correction is financial. For families, it's personal. The Texas dream isn't gone, but it's evolving. Affordability isn't guaranteed, stability isn't automatic, and growth without balance always ends the same way. For more cinematic, data-driven insights into America's changing housing landscape, subscribe to Discover the Nation, because the story of America's housing future isn't written in Wall Street offices, it's written in neighborhoods like these. And in 2025, those neighborhoods are starting to crack.